Hello, everyone. I am back with the nighttime. Maybe I should call it that. Maybe I should call it. Why is my screen blank? Um, oh, the tracker. Um, Maybe I should call it the nighttime racing because they do have the night races on I don't want to say on a regular basis, but they do have it often. And last week or the week before July 4th, was it? No, I think it was the week before July 4th. They had night racing at Churchill Downs, and most of their races didn't start until late in the evening. So it is a possibility that, and Santa Anita for sure, because they're on the uh, Pacific Coast time, so the races start much later in the evening for them. So anyway, we are live. And the thing that I'm not sure about, oh, I know how I can do that. I was going to say, I don't know how I can watch the races, although it says I can do it live. I'm going to do it this way. Right, let's back over here. Um, Now, this evening, we're going to be learning some things because I don't know any of these jockeys. So it's going to be very interesting to learn these jockeys. Except Hazelwood, I do know him. But anyway, so let's see. Oh, it's not liking. Oh, it is, but, FanDuel. Um, so this is the fifth race at Prairie Meadows. It is $100,000. It's the Prairie Gold Juvenile Stake Race. It's going 5.5 furlongs in the dirt, and it is 11 horses in the race. And it looks like all but one will be racing. So we got AV from the logo at 39 to 1 with Ken Tohill. On the two is AP Score at 22 to 1 with Walter De La Cruz. Now I do know Walter. Dial It Down at 31 to 1 with Ronnie Huckabee. The four, American Pope, is 10 to 1 with Orlando Mahica. I know him too. Uh Ice Break at 6 to 1 with Rocco Boeing. Um Instacash at 43 to 1 with Glenn Colbert. Airship at 3 to 1 with Alex Berzer. Uh the 9 Wiggly at 4 to 5, that's the favorite with Yesit Hazelwood. I know him. And the 10 Dear Admiral at 17 to 1 with Edvin Gonzalez. Elvin Gonzalez. I'm not familiar with him either. So those are the lineup for the evening race. It's post time. They are actually heading to the um they're actually heading to the gate right now. They're doing like a drone or overall aerial view of the race. So as soon as it goes off, I will let you know. Um, and their horses are in heading in the gate now. Just waiting for them to get all in the gate. They got the music playing. Hopefully they'll go to the. There it goes. Nope. So right now the 9 horses in the lead. 9, 3, and 8 are in front. Uh, who's the favorite? The 8. And the 10 is coming up.
Old Deer Admiral is trying to come at her from the outside. Dial It Down is in behind them third. The others are far back at the top of the stretch. And jockey Yetsit Hazelwood has not moved a muscle on Wagley. He just looked behind and sees that she is moving further and further clear without being asked. Wagley putting on a show in the Prairie Gold Juvenile, and she is cantering down to the line to win by 4. Dear Admiral was second in front of Dial It Down in a closing AP score.
So it was 9, 10, and 3. It looks like that came into the race. The 3. Oh, that was a 13-1. I think the 3 came third. See if they'll replay it again. I was talking earlier about the fact that TVG is pulling back on its live coverage of the races. Not necessarily the live coverage, but the commentating. um, um, and so instead of having the commentators, they just have music playing. And the music is delayed at going off. And by that time, the announcer is already calling the race. And as you saw, um, it was about a minute before it actually, I won't say a minute, few seconds before it actually switched over to the caller actually calling the race. And don't know what the future is as far as TVG is concerned. Was just saying that I heard a um I don't know what his relationship is with the community. I don't know whether he's a jockey or whether he's a trainer, but he was saying how, although TVG is going, um, it's pulling back on all of the commentators. In fact, they've gotten rid of quite a few commentators. Now all they're doing is playing music, and then they turn the music off, let the race go off. Once the race is finished, they'll let the announcers say a little bit more, and then it goes straight back to music. But his position was, yes, we're going back to we're losing a vehicle to showcase the or talk about the horse racing. But the biggest and more important thing is the fact that the um, new fans that want to become fans couldn't really go to TVG. I mean, because they were not catering towards that type of audience. The audience that they were catering towards were those ones that were already established fans. So they weren't trying to build new fans and they weren't trying to create new fans. They were just trying to maintain. And I think that may have been part of the problem is the fact that they weren't trying to bring in new a new fan base, a new generation, and trying to get them excited about the sport and letting people know, which is why I'm here. You know, I don't really talk about handicapping because I'm not an expert at handicapping. I talk about the races. I talk about what I like. I talk about horse racing as an industry. I talk about everything that I can think of to bring some type of awareness and get people interested and more involved in it. And I started this because I realized when I first got into horse racing, it was about my mom. She was a 50 plus year horse racing fan. And she got me involved like the last 10 years of it because before then I wasn't interested and um it just didn't phase me enough to want to be interested in it. But I realized that I don't have my mom as that partner in crime anymore. So I like talking about the horse racing. So I came here to talk about the horse racing, and that's because nobody else in my family, nobody else really wants to have that conversation. They're not interested, and it's only because they don't know about it. And so I'm a little bit passionate about it because, like I said, my mom was the one who got me involved with it, especially right before the pandemic happened. And then when the pandemic happened, that's all we talked about every single day because of the races going on. There was nothing else to do other than, I mean, outside of work, of course, but there was nothing else to do, even with work, because everything was shut down. Um, but they still had horse racing. And we talk about it, and we got to the point where we talked every single day. Hey, this is what's going on. We didn't bet on the races every day. Her days were Friday and Saturday. Me, I never really liked betting on a Saturday because Saturdays, for some reason, just wasn't my day. It just, I don't know. We just could not come to an understanding at any track. Didn't matter what track it was, uh, to be able to sit back and talk about horse racing. But those were her days. Friday and Saturday, she was at the races, and then the rest of the time, she'd either watch them or um, she'd maybe pick an off day and go randomly. But um that thought came into my head when this race went off. That's the reason why I was talking about it, because there were so many the when I turned it on, there was music playing instead of the announcer, and the horses are going. That's when I started talking. So anyway, so we are moving on to the next race, which is the sixth race. It's the next stake race, and it's the Iowa Spirit stake race. And this race is $100,000. It's going 6 furlongs in the dirt. There are 10 starters in this race, and these are 3 year olds and up. Um, So now I'm going to talk about the horses. One is Booth at 9 to 5, and of course that's Mike Smith. which is the favorite. The one is the favorite. Champlin, which is 14-1. It is Florent Giroux. Um, it's my birthday, 4-1 with Ramon Vasquez. Paula Joey on the 5 at 5-1 is Alex Berzer. Again, I'm not familiar with him. I'll have to figure out who he is. The 6 is Surveillance, 16-1 with Elvin Gonzalez. Uh, the 7 is Super Tuscan at 9-2 with Micah Husbands. The 8 horse is Camp Hale at 5-1 with Alfredo Triana. Don't know him. New jockey. And 9 is Just Sweet Joe at 26-1 with Orlando Mojica. So that is the lineup. The 4 and the 10 are scratched. I have to look at the past performances to see if I can even come up with anything. I know some of these jockeys, but I don't know. I don't know um, much about. I know that most of the jockeys, of course, Mike Smith is a veteran, so you can't count Mike Smith out of anything that he does. And I am more of a jockey better than I am a horse better. I look at the horses just to kind of get an idea that maybe sort of kind of I can read more into what I'm looking at, but typically I bet the jockey. I'm just being nice by talking about the horses because otherwise I could spend the whole time talking about the jockey and never mention the horse at all and never know the horse's name really. Um, but I know that that's not going to get much play here, so I have to talk about the horse. Uh, let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Let me go here and then here. Okay. Prairie Meadows, race 6. And for those who are just joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you um, coming in, even if it's just to kind of look and peek and see what's going on and go on with your day. I really appreciate you taking the time to stop by and say hello. Oh, yeah, somebody mentioned I see a chat here about any cash prize. I'm not sure what that means, so if you can elaborate a little bit, I would really I want to be able to answer your question, but I'm not sure I understand the question. So if you can kind of help me out here, I would appreciate it. Um, because I'm not sure if you mean for the racetrack or the horse or which horse you might be talking about or just drop me another comment and let me know. I'm not really sure. Um anyway, at a quick glance, I like to just quickly go over the races because, like I said, this platform is not for handicapping. I don't have any pedigree to be able to expertly give any advice as far as picking a horse or I'm just telling you what I like and what I feel and just go from there. It for me it's more about having fun than it is about the betting. I mean, I love betting, don't get me wrong, but it's just not my primary focus here. I like I said, I do it for more for fun. Anyway, so ooh, I'm looking at the first horse. and it's the favorite. I have to say, I'm not really liking it, but I've been wrong so many times today until it's not even funny. Um, and then ask me, son. Um, wow. Ooh, the three might look fairly decent. Um, and maybe is the four scratched? Yeah, the four and the 10 were scratched. Um, yeah, I okay, maybe the seven. Yeah, that's all I can see. What did I say? The one I can't exclude because it's the favorite. I mean, I'm just not a fan, and if it wins, fine. I mean, if I was betting, I probably would not even include it in my ticket, but that's just me. But I have to say the three, the seven, that's all I got. I mean, I can't leave out Giroux, but I'm just not a fan of his horse. Um, yep, don't know. Don't know. But that's what I got. That's what I'm gonna stick with. That's what I'm gonna keep moving on. So we have two more races that are coming up this evening. Um, and these are the last two, the seventh and the eighth race at um, Prairie Meadows. Um, and they're looking like they're about 30 minutes apart in between. So it says 3-year-olds and up. And then they've got the Iowa Derby that's coming up next. Let's take a look at that. Um, this is also 3-year-olds. But it doesn't say whether they're male, female, so I'm guessing they're both. Let me look at the card again. Iowa Sprint. Let's see. I wonder if I can click info here. Oh, it does tell me. Um, talks about the weight, fees waived. So it doesn't say whether they're, it just says 3-year-olds. Doesn't say, so I guess it could be anything. Let's see. So these all in this race look like they're They're all boys. Um, can't tell what number nine is. Is number nine is still in the race. But I'm gonna assume it's a male also. See, I'm still learning because all it says is R. I don't know what an R is, but I have to look it up because I've never heard of an R. And just like the one that says H, don't know what that is. I know what a C is. I know what a G is because a C is colt, of course. G is gelding, meaning they've been snipped. Um, but yeah, I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna have to look that up and talk about it in some other platform or some other video that I'll be posting. I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm just going to make a note to keep uh, an eye out on what these races are. You know, like my shirt. I've been wearing this shirt all day. I've been meaning to make a comment about it. This shirt was given to me by somebody I don't even remember. I just saw it and I said, "Oh, it's nice and soft and cool." And for the heat that we had here, I'm like, "Okay, this works for me." So I put it on. No, I've never been to Hawaii, so I'm just representing the state, I guess. It looks like a Hawaiian shirt anyway. Um, but that's what I got. So anyway, we are waiting. We've got 5 minutes to post for this particular race. Um, and let's see, I had a thought that I was going to share about something else, and it just went straight out of my head. Because I do get to babbling too much sometimes. Um, let's see. What would be helpful for me is if you're willing to ask any questions um, through chat. I'm certainly willing to answer questions you might have. Um, except I'm sorry I couldn't answer the one about any cash prizes. I still don't know what that meant, but Um, if I can get a little bit more feedback from you, then I will answer that question too. Um, we have 4 minutes to post. My TV has been acting up all afternoon. I mean, this morning it was fine. Yesterday it was fine. Last week it was fine. It just decides every time I want to go live that it doesn't want to behave properly. And it's just a battle between the two. So, now what I'm looking at on my TV, I'm looking at on my tablet, which is fine. I mean, the tablet works fine. Have no problems with. I've had no problems with the tablet at all. So that lets me know it's the TV, not the tablet. Just makes me go unbelievable. I just like the sound on the TV. That's all. That's the only reason why I try to put it on the TV because at least the sound is loud enough. I don't think it's loud enough on the tablet to hear everything that I want heard. So Anyway, 2 minutes to post. Um, and then we'll move on to the next race. The race that's being televised right now is Canterbury Park. I know of it, but I don't really watch those races very much. It's not that I don't do the smaller tracks as I do. I love Parks. It's just Parks doesn't run on Friday or Saturday unless it's the Triple Crown weekend. Then they do ride on. They do run on those Saturdays. I don't know if they run on those Saturdays during the Breeders' Cup, but I will find out this year and make a note of it. But other than that, Parks runs either Sunday through Wednesday or Monday through Wednesday. I don't remember, but and I don't even remember how I got introduced to Parks. I was just watching the races, and for some reason Parks came on, or it might have been because it was a Tuesday and Parks came on, and I was just fascinated with their track, and I've been watching them ever since. Um, One of the commentators that is still with TVG, I don't know what his role is, but he mentioned a racetrack that he says he loves that I have never heard of before. I didn't even know the racetrack existed. And I said I was going to, um, it's 0 minutes to post for Prairie Meadows, so I'll keep it say I am paying attention. Um, but it was a track I had never heard of before. And let's see if I can remember the name of it. Uh Anessa Anessa Boya Downs. I know nothing about that track. Nothing. But he was saying, and he was saying that it's one of his all-time favorites. And he likes the track itself, and he likes the jockeys that race there. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on that one because that one kind of threw me because, like I said, I had never heard of them before. So, okay, so we're waiting for Charlestown um, to go off. And I do know about Charlestown, although I don't really bet Charlestown much either. Well, they are a late racetrack on the East Coast. They don't usually start racing until later in the evening. Um, this is race 5 for them, so they probably start around 4 o'clock, maybe. But they are night racing track, so I don't really follow Charlestown too much because of that. But they're in Maryland, I think. Or no, they're on the East Coast somewhere. Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, somewhere around there. I've been a couple of times, but I just don't remember where it was. Okay, we're waiting for see where they are with so Prairie Meadows are just heading to the gate also. I have a hard time getting the horses in the gate at Charlestown. They're heading in the gate. I can just turn the sound on here. Hopefully you'll be able to hear, because again, the sound, at least to me, it doesn't sound very loud. Um, but because it's coming straight through the system, I don't know, it could be okay as far as I know. But they're heading into the gate now. They must have it really, really well lit in Charlestown, because I mean, almost look like it's daytime there, but you know it's nighttime. They're gonna switch. Okay, I'm gonna pause this and I'm gonna let it go through the
Wall in the gate. And they're off. And a good even start, and Booth is fast from the inside gate. Mike Smith send him right out to the lead. Booth is in front early. Champlin is just alongside of him.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, Booth.
It's My Birthday is only 2 lengths off the pace, followed by Super Tuscan. He's moving through between runners. Ola Joey only has 3.5 to make up, and Jet Sweet Joe is the trailer of a compact route that passes the half-mile pole. Champlin just to the outside of Booth, and Surveillance makes it 3 across the track. As they make their way into the far turn, Camp Hale is starting to get involved from fourth. He's on the extreme outside. Super Tuscan has 4 lengths to make up. It's My Birthday inside of him. Ola Joey's got some work to do. So does Jet Sweet Joe.
So right now is one,
clear leader now,
and everybody else that follows.
Booth turns him on down and steps on the gas. Opens it out to a 2.5.
Not gonna catch the one.
It's My Birthdays. Has room down at
Who's
the
coming
fence.
second?
Close up the inside. Camp Hale is flattened out. Ola Joey late on the scene. And Booth is doing it well. It's Booth and Mike Smith to win the Iowa Sprint. Beating It's My Birthday tight third. Camp Hale.
Yeah. Considering it's my dad's birthday today, I might have, if I had been actually betting, I might have put a couple of dollars on It's My Birthday, just for kicks and giggles. I don't even know if I mentioned the 3. I don't even know what horses I mentioned. I said I was going to start putting them in the chat, but I forgot. Um, did I mention the 3? Oh yeah, I did. I did mention the 3. I mentioned the 3, and I mentioned the 7. I don't know who came third. Uh, but anyway, so moving on to the next race. That is going to be in 24 minutes. The next race is started talking about it, and then I got distracted with the Iowa Derby because I wanted to find out if these were all boys, girls, or a mixture of. And this looks like the same thing. So this is the 7th race. It's a $250,000 race. The Iowa Derby. It's going a mile and a 16th on the dirt, and it's going. There's 9 starters in the race, and like I said, these are 3-year-olds and up. and we've got about 20, 23 minutes to go. Um, so I'm looking to see. If there's anything else, I know I have a tendency not to complete my sentences when I get into a thought. But I am actually going to take a quick break between this one and the next race, only because my grandson is looking for me and he was very nice not to say anything to me while I was streaming. So I'm going to take a quick break and then I will be right back. Don't go away. I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, everyone, I am back for the final two races today. Um, Meadow, Meadowlands. Wow, I don't know where that came from. Anyway, Prairie Meadow is getting ready. They're getting into the gate. They're not in the gate yet. They're heading in that way. And then after this, we have one more race to cover, and we should be good to go. Um, this has been a long day, but a very productive day. And again, I thank everyone for joining me and hanging in there and sticking it out with me as I go through these races.
And they're off in the Iowa Derby. And it's J.J. Gray who breaks on top. Bricklin is coming after him. Canned Heat on their outside. Desert Gate wanted to go up for the lead, but was taken back now into the fourth spot for the run into the turn. Chad Allen's going to be caught widest, while Cruppers goes over to the fence and will save ground as they make their way around.
Okay, I'm
the
trying
turn.
to see who it looks
these
like.
opening furlongs. The
4,
we did is only 6 lengths out. The pace is just to the
7,
inside about match.
something on the
Maximum effort.
outside,
See them all after an opening quarter
2
mile
on the
that was a
inside.
modest 23 and 4. 3-year-olds head onto the back stretch, and it's J.J. Gray just the leader. Bricklin has a perfect stalking spot on the outside. Now he's right up to challenge for the lead. Canned Heat is in the clear third. Crupper down on the inside, while Desert Gate is just in behind the lead pack. He's racing between horses and about 2.5 lengths off the lead. Chad Allen's just outside of him. The Hell We Did now only 4.5 lengths to make up. Clear of outmatch and maximum effort after a half mile that was a very moderate 47 and 4, and a well-bunched Iowa Derby field heads into the far turn. J.J. Gray still a nostril in front. Bricklin almost right to him now on the outside, and Desert Gate has his chance now.
So
he's taken into the 3 path,
the
and he's
favorite
coming
is
to the leaders at the quarter
5.
approaching the top of the stretch. J.J. Gray trying to see it out. Bricklin almost up to even terms, but he's working harder now, and Desert Gate's got to go. He's not doing enough at this point. Meanwhile, J.J. Gray is opened up.
He sure is. They are not going to catch him. I have to talk about him. Okay. Yep.
And
Manny Escobar is one long shot jockey, although he won the long shot on this one.
Desert Gate was fourth.
He wasn't a long shot on this one, but he is one of my top long shot jockeys. He's on the 4 horse. And when I saw his name, I know we didn't talk about this race before I came back on. I didn't come on early enough to talk about it, but Emmanuel, I don't remember what track he was at that I learned about him, but he's one of my he's one of my favorites. So it came 4-1-3, 4-1. Ramon Vasquez, that doesn't surprise me. Who's on the 3? Mike Smith, of course, that doesn't surprise me either. He was 23-1. The favorite was not in this race at all. I don't even know where he ended up. I don't even think he came 4th. But anyway, that is the end of that race. Now we're going to move on to race number 8. And race number 8 is the last race of the day. It is the $300,000 race, Prairie Meadows Cornhuskers handicap. Is going 1.125 miles on the dirt. There are 9 starters in this race, and we will talk about them. One is Bullard at 9-1 with Kazushi Kimura. I know him from Canada. He rides out of Woodbine. That's where I learned him. And then he came down to Santa Anita, and he goes back and forth between the two. So I'm familiar with him. Render Judgment at 15-1 with Emmanuel. Esquivel. The 3 is Heroic Move at 9-1 with Ramon Vasquez. Yeah, Ramon Vasquez. Cornish Man at 14-1 with Elvin Gonzalez. San Siro at 9-2 with Florent Giroux. Giganti at 7-2 with Mike Smith. The 8 is Navajo Warrior, which is even money. He's the favorite. Oh, it's pouring down rain in Charlestown. With Micah Husbands. I know I went back and forth. I just happened to look up. Spinard at 50-1 with Israel Hernandez. I don't know who Israel is, but I'm learning the jockeys at other tracks. So most of these jockeys I already know. I think there are 2 that on the 9 and also on oh no, he's the only one I don't know in this race is Israel Hernandez. I don't know who he is. But anyway, we've got 21 minutes to post. I'm going to take the time to say I enjoyed all who were able to join me today. And I'm going to talk about the fact that I do another video session on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called The Dabs Road to Glory, and the focus is the Breeders' Cup. And I talk all things about the Breeders' Cup because in all the years that I had learned about horse racing and whatnot, I never knew about the Breeders' Cup. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know it existed. Didn't know how it was, um, how it was, what impact it had on um, the community. I didn't know any of that. I did not know any of that. So I decided to do these segments on the road to glory. I started with the Kentucky Derby. I didn't do a deep dive because I didn't start it early enough to do a deep dive. But with the Breeders' Cup, I am doing a deeper dive. I'm explaining a lot of things and I'm taking the time to explain what is, the Breeders' Cup and who's involved in the Breeders' Cup. And when I say who's involved, that's either the trainer, the jockeys, the owners, the horses, of course, and the betting and the excitement and any news that I can share, I will share on that during that session. So if you're interested in learning about anything regarding the Breeders' Cup, join me, like I said, on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Now, I did not do the last couple of Thursdays for various reasons, but I am definitely going to be back on track, and I'm going to catch up and make sure that each episode is available for viewing. So I hope that you enjoy them, and I look forward to being able to provide the knowledge that I am trying to share. So that's all I have to say on that. Um, Next Saturday, I will be back again to talk about next Saturday's races. I don't post which races I'm going to cover because I usually don't know. They don't usually post them until um, later in the week, or if something gets canceled. I just tend to like to wait a little bit before I share which stake races I'm going to be covering. And the only reason why I'm doing this stake race is because there are just way too many races to talk about, to cover, to enjoy. And I chose covering the stake races because of the fact that they are exciting and they are more structured than the other. Well, I won't even say that. It's just that these are the top tier racing. I could do the handicap or the allowance races, but it's not as, to me, it's not as much of a draw as it is for the stake races, because people, and I could be wrong, people come to the horse races not only to see those races, but they come to see the stake races. Unless you're a gambler and you don't care, there are plenty of those. But most people, most of the fans are coming to horse racing to watch the big races and see who the top um horses are, so that they can follow their lifeline as they go through the various um stake race, um what's the word I want to use, progression, I guess, to reach the either the Breeders' Cup and or the Kentucky Derby. So that's why I chose to talk about the stake races, because we'll hear about them again and we'll be able to follow them, and you get to know the names and whatnot, and come back and say, yeah, I know about that horse because I saw that horse win. And you know whereas the other ones, just the everyday races, they're fine. I do bet on the everyday races when I get a chance to bet, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. So anyway, we got 16 minutes left. Um Trying to think, is there anything else that I want to cover at this point? Um let's see. Since this is the last race. Um Oh, I was going to provide a recap of all the races that we covered today. But I think what I'm going to do instead is just put them up on my social media page. So if you want to see the recap of all of the races that we covered today, just join me on one of my social media pages and you'll be able to see what they were. Um, I just think that's a better way to present it than trying to present everything live. And I don't want to take up more time than I already have, because I know that, time is money and time is valuable and I don't want to waste it. So, anyway, got 14 minutes. Mm, TV is showing Evangeline Downs. Now, that's another track. I've heard of it, but I've never bet it, never paid attention to it. I just haven't had any reason to go to that track. Not for any other reason other than the fact it's just one more track. I mean, if you knew how many racetracks there are in the US by itself, um, you'd be amazed. I mean, at some point in the next few weeks, I will be going to Emerald Downs, which is in Seattle, Washington. I've never been to Emerald Downs. never even bet at Emerald Downs. I've heard of it, but I've never bet it. So I'm kind of excited, and I might see if I can take pictures or whatever. I know they're not going to let me live stream or anything. I don't know. I could ask, maybe, and see what they say. All they can do is tell. I learned all you can do. You can ask any question. If they could either say yes or they could say no. Doesn't really matter. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of knowledge about Emerald Downs just so that I can at least have an intelligent conversation. Should I decide to um, want to go live streaming there? But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've not seen anybody else do it there, so I'm not sure if that's a thing that you can do or not. But it may not be a thing that anybody has asked, so who knows? Anyway, we've got 12 minutes left to go. I'm still looking at this Evangeline Downs. Um, I don't even know where Evangeline Downs is. Let's see. Where is Evangeline Downs? I can spell it right. Oh, they're in Louisiana. Evangeline Downs Racetrack and Casino. So, oh, it's a Boyd property. Interesting. So, and I say that because I I do a lot of gambling at Sam's Town in Las Vegas to the point where I have free comps there regularly. So bad. But anyway, they're a Boyd property, so that's why I said it like that. So, uh, this racetrack has been around since 1966. Oh, they do both thoroughbred racing and they also do quarter horse racing. Now, quarter horses are the little tiny horses and they don't go very far. In fact, they only go in a straight line. They go maybe a quarter, maybe a half a mile, I would say. And they go as fast as they can because they're the fastest horses, you know. And whoever gets there wins. I don't really watch quarter horse racing, even though they're the cutest thing seeing their little legs run, but it's just not interesting to me. It's not as interesting to me as the thoroughbred racing. Um, but so that's a little bit about Evangeline Downs. I just happen to see him. Whoever's on three horses, the one that won the race. So in the ninth race at Evangeline. Um, so that's all I got so far. So there you have it. Um, I didn't do at a quick glance this race. Let me see what this one has to. I don't know. I'm just. Um, at a quick glance, this is a dirt race. The seven has been scratched. I don't know if I mentioned that. The seven and the favorite is the eight. Let's see why they think the eight is the favorite. Only thing that concerns me, although I guess it doesn't really matter, the horse, but the last one, two, three, four, five, 6 races, including today's, he's had a different jockey on his back ever since um November 2025. And some of them he's won with, and some of them he hasn't. And I'm not sure if this is one of them times where he is going to win. Hmm, he might. He might. I don't know. I don't want to count him out. I select the nine. Nine is 42 to 1. Wow. 42 to 1. I wonder why. Well, maybe they know something I don't know. Um, let's see. The six. Maybe. Let's see. The four doesn't look too bad. I'm just not familiar with Elvin Husbands, but then I'm not familiar with Israel Hernandez either on the nine. Oh, seven was Rainier Ariata. I know who he is, but he was scratched in this the seven. He was riding the seventh. Okay. Uh, Mike Smith on the six. You can't count out Mike Smith. You just can't. Mm, mm, um. Yep, I got nothing. Well, we got 6 minutes. 6 minutes to post. Oh, it should be the last one. Oh, I have to take it off studio. There we go. I forgot. When I'm on studio, it doesn't update the banner. I mean, yeah, when I'm in studio mode, it doesn't update the banner. So there we are. Uh, the three doesn't look bad either. I don't know, but this is going over a mile. I can't manual. All right, there are too many picks, too many things to pick from, too many races to choose from. I mean, too many races, too many horses to choose from. There are, this is the last race. I know I would just put 42, the nine, 42 to 1. I would do that across the board just as a side bet. I wouldn't include it in anything, but I would just do that as a side bet just in case it decided it wanted to come in. Um, and Emmanuel, 15 to 1. No, no, no. Like I said, too many to choose. But my initial My initial, for whatever reason, was the three horse. I don't know why. That just kind of stuck with me. Mm, yeah. Yep. No, no. That's it. We've got 3 minutes to post. Now it's at Los Alamitos. Mm, yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing left. It is seven. I'm looking at the temperature. It is 75 degrees. Feels like 80. They're in Iowa, and it is. They're on the Iowa's in the East Coast time, so it is almost 10 o'clock at night, or it's after 10, and it's still saying, "Well, it's 75 degrees here." So what am I complaining about? Good grief! And it might feel like 79 too, but I just haven't been outside. I've been sitting here, so I don't know. Well, Los Alamitos just went off. Oh, and in case you noticed, I don't know if you really paid attention, but I don't like watching the races when they first go off because I've learned to get to know the jockeys, and sometimes that's when incidents happens, and I know it can happen anytime during the race at any point, but I can't really watch them. I may glance and say what's in the lead, but then I'll look away, but I will pay attention as they're coming down to the wire because I feel a little bit more confident that they're going to get past that wire without any incident happening. I know it happens in horse racing, but it just hugs tugs at my heartstrings when I see them um, get injured or hear about them getting injured or even worse, um, for a multitude of reasons. Um, and one of the biggest ones, which is not widely known, is that most jockeys cannot get insurance because of the type of work that they do. It is nearly impossible for them to get any type of insurance, which is why they have a lot of fundraisers and whatnot for the ones that have injured and can no longer support themselves. There are several um, charities that they have going. That's the reason why the charity I was mentioning earlier, I didn't know whether it was because it was regarding the jockey or whether it was regarding the horses, or maybe it was to help the, because I think this was at Saratoga, so it may have been to help those barns that lost the horses a month or so back. So I'm not really sure, but it happens. It happens. So there's a lot about horse racing people don't know about. And they keep it in they learn the worst cases regarding the horses, but they don't take the time to learn the whole industry itself and the impact that it has across the board. Which is why I'm happy to sit here and share that information because, if you're interested in horse races, you need to know all that it is, not just about the horses and the possibility that you may win money, because sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. All right, it is post time for Prairie Meadows. This is the eighth race. I said who I thought I was gonna come through. I don't remember what I said now because that was 5 minutes ago. I have gray hair, so I think the gray just sucks out all of my memory at short term memory. Um, but anyway, they're going back to Charlestown. All right, so I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit again just to see where they are at Prairie Meadows. Uh, here. Oh, they're doing the circle dance right now. They're just going around in circles. So just waiting for them to go to the gate. Mm, okay, now they're heading to the gate. They've completed their circle dance. So now they're heading to the gate. At least it stopped raining in Charlestown. Um, but it is a sloppy, muddy track. 3 horses have been scratched out of 9. Oh, I was going to say, it looks like they've switched. They have. They've gone to the Prairie Meadows because the track looks different. I like the drone overview that they do sometimes. That's pretty cool. And they're doing the drone overview to see the horses going into the gate. Just a very interesting perspective. I've just never seen that perspective before. They did it a couple of times today, or I noticed it a couple of times today. The drone. Come on, last one.
They're all in line. And they're off in the Cornhusker. An awkward start for San Siro. He blew the brake and spotted the field about 3 or 4 lengths.
That was the
Navajo
5.
Warrior broke right on the money, and the favorite
Yep, the
takes
5
charge
is dead
at once,
last.
clears the field with 1 lap to go, and moves over to the inside, already 3 lengths in front. Cornishman is a second place fifth at this point, much closer than usual, just to the outside of Bullard. For the run to the first turn, Heroic Move is 4th. He's already about 8 lengths behind Navajo Warrior, who's setting a rapid early tempo. Followed by Rendered Judgment, Gigante from the back of the pack, going past Spinar. And after the bad start, San Siro can see them all. The opening quarter mile was 23-2, and it's Navajo Warrior all by his lonesome for Micah Husbands as they run up the back stretch. Navajo Warrior on a 6-length lead. Bullard is a clear second at this point.
Unless those horses catch up, he is just
behind. They're followed by Heroic Move outside Render Judgment. Then Gigante, Spinard second last. And San Siro can see them all. Half mile was solid, 46-4. for Navajo Warrior, who's still a clear leader, approaching the final 3 furlongs. Navajo Warrior into the far turn on a 4.5 length lead. Bullard is inching a little closer in the second spot. Cornishman working hard in third. Heroic Move is under a full-out shove but not making much ground. Nobody really closing at this point from the back of the pack.
I know,
Bullard
right?
is the one who's getting closest to Navajo Warrior as they arrive at the top of the stretch, but it's Navajo Warrior who's now under left-handed urging and still clear by 3.5. Bullard is all out trying to bridge the gap in second. Gigante moving from the back of the pack, but nobody is going to get to Navajo Warrior, who ran them right off their feet in the Cornhusker.
He went from gate to wire. I mean, he just blew out the door. So I don't even think I had the one. I mean the 8. I don't even think I had the 1 either because I didn't mention his name. I mentioned Emmanuel on the 2, and I mentioned doesn't matter. I wasn't in there. It didn't have anything to do with me. So I am very glad that you came. Like I said, I am going to end this stream, and I hope everyone has a great evening, the great rest of your weekend. Again, I will be streaming. I will be recording. I'm not sure which one I'm going to be doing on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I will see you back here on Saturday to talk about the next set of races that will be taking place. Until then, have a good one and stay cool. Bye.